Shadow Generations has a decent amount of levels to it, but what are my favorite levels in Shadow Generations? Those levels would consist of Space Colony Arc, Kingdom Valley, and Sunset Heights. I should note that I will be adding the second acts too. So let's get into it. Let's get into my favorite levels in Shadow Generations, starting off with Space Colony Arc. Space Colony Arc is the first level in Shadow Generations, and of course that would make sense. It was where Shadow was born. And while playing this level for the first time, my reaction was complete shock. It teaches you the basic mechanics of the game, you know, boosting, homing, attacking, all of that. And there are some pretty neat things that you'll stumble upon, like this. Or this, and especially this too, but I think my favorite thing to come out of this level is how they utilize chaos control. You probably don't even need to use it, but the level does utilize it pretty well. When you stumble upon these missiles, you can freeze time and use them as platforms. It's as simple as that, and this could be useful in certain situations. That's just another thing you need to learn from this level, but you also need to learn how quick time events work, and this is the first level to have a quick time event, and I think it's a good one. After that, you quickly get inside the Space Colony Arc, and there is an area of this level that I do like. It's right here with all the different paths you can go down, but they always will lead you to the same ending. Black Doom reveals himself to you, and the level starts distorting into Radical Highway, and you have to chase down Black Doom, but it could be a little bit tricky, so be careful. This starts to kick in when you make it to this part of the level, which I actually kinda like. Then you just make it to the end, and you beat up some robots, and then the level is over with. For being the first act, it does a pretty good job presenting the game to you and opening it up. The second act isn't as amazing as the first level, but it's still a good level. It is the first 2D level of Shadow Generations, and you'll be using the Chaos Spear attack to open some doors. Yeah, that sounds simple, but it works. But the level does start to pick up when you get to use the Doom Wings. The fact this is a real thing in the Sonic series will always be something. You're using these in 2D, but I think you'll get the basic gist of how they work. But as for that, both levels are a good way to start off the game. They teach you a few of the game's mechanics and how it's gonna work. So now let's jump into Kingdom Valley. And cutting to the chase, they utilize Doom Surf pretty well in this level. You can get some genuine air with this if you want to reach a platform that you want to reach. But these levels do have a bunch of other things to them too, like the water rails or these rope things you can jump on. And they definitely do add to this level. Now, maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but when I go through both of the acts of Kingdom Valley in this game, I kind of feel like I'm exploring the place and also climbing up it too. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but I do get that vibe. The first act is pretty fun to get through, but Act 2 is also the same way too. Act 2 feels like this massive climb to the end of the level. The first level was that way too, but now it's even more massive. Could be wrong about this, but this is the level to introduce this, which I could be wrong about, but it's used pretty well. But then we get into my favorite parts of this level, where these platforms are trying to crush you, but you can also use them, and then you make it to the near end of the stage as you just climb to the top. I didn't mention the loops, but I do like how they use the loops in this level. So those are both of the acts of Kingdom Valley. I enjoyed them. So finally, now we're getting into Sunset Heights, probably my favorite levels in the game, or the best levels in the game. So somehow they turned a pretty mediocre level into an actually good level. You might be surprised to find out that they don't do a one-to-one copy with the original stage. It actually takes various different elements from other stages from Sonic Forces. And honestly, that's the best thing they could have done. This version of Sunset Heights is far more decayed and destroyed. There's water damage now. The robots are actual obstacles that you can use. There's this cool part of the level where Shadow is avoiding these Death Egg robots before ending up in the sewers. And there's various different ways you can go around this sewer, like with every level in this game. I actually think this is a cool addition to the level, but there is a segment where Black Doom shows up, and I think it's kinda out of place. I understand you gotta push the story forward, but why in this level specifically? Well, at least you do have Act 2, and it just gets even better. So this time around, the robots are destroying some platforms, and also, you're going through the sewers again by using your Doom Surf, and those might be the best parts of the level when you're going around in the sewer. Oh, and there is this part with the grind rails going on, but let's get back into those robots. So near the end of the level, you could actually use one of the robots' arms as a platform, and that's just another good way of utilizing chaos control in this game. But that is Sunset Heights. They took a mediocre level and actually made it good, but they also added some new additions to it too, and it might just be my favorite level or levels in the game. And with that, those are my favorite levels in Shadow Generations. What are your favorite levels? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time, and bye.